I didn't break free when I left. I broke free the day that I stopped checking his Instagram, Facebook, any of that stuff, TikTok, like it was breaking news. Every time he would post some cryptic quote, you know what I found myself doing? Zooming in on it, trying to decode it, turning it into a full-blown FBI profiler with Wi-Fi. That had to stop. Healing from narcissistic trauma, it's not about some dramatic exit. And it's also not giving any more brain cells to anything that he's posting now. You know what? I'm here to help. My name is Tiffany. I'm a licensed therapist, and I'm also a B.R.A.V.E. self-method coach. And unfortunately, I am the former CEO of Why Did He Like Her Photo Inc. Been there, done that, right? But I want you to know, if you feel like your nervous system has been on a spin cycle, no, you're not crazy. You're just healing from an emotional warfare. And that's where my B.R.A.V.E. self-method comes in, because it's time to stop surviving and to start thriving. So I want you to go ahead and grab your snacks, silence that inner critic, and let's get to it. Let's be real. This isn't just another breakup. This was emotional whiplash wrapped in both love bombing and gaslighting. And yet everyone tells you just to move on, like you misplaced your keys, not your entire sense of self. You know, traditional recovery, it assumes that you're healing from heartbreak and not a psychological hostage situation. Guess what? You're not clingy. You're more like chemically bonded. And trauma bonding is the thing. It's where your brain is not broken. It's just been hijacked. Meanwhile, life has been on pause, right? You're juggling bills, kids, group chats, all the while low-key Googling, why can't I stop missing someone who's made me miserable? But here's the truth. Willpower alone won't cut it. You need a recovery approach that will work with your brain and not against it. So good news, that's exactly what we're about to do. So how do we actually heal when our brain's been in survival mode for so long that it thinks chaos is comfort? Enters the B.R.A.V.E. self-method. This is no crystals or no moon rituals, unless you're into that. This is about a real recovery backed by neuroscience and a whole lot of truth. B.R.A.V.E. stands for boundaries, regulation, authenticity, validation, and empowerment. And this is not about becoming a new person. It's about finally remembering who you were before the gaslighting. And this isn't some surface level healing. We're talking deep, soul level reconnection. And don't you worry. You don't have to have it all figured out. That's what I'm here for. But let's break it down one letter at a time. So let's start with the big B, boundaries. Not the I'm blocking you so you chase me around kind. It's the I'm protecting my peace and not playing games kind. This is the science. Your brain has something that's called a threat detector. It's like a smoke detector but for stress. And in toxic relationships, that alarm has been going off for so long, your brain thinks chaos is normal. But with boundaries, we're going to learn how to reset that. And we will tell your brain something like, hey, we're safe now. And that can be through physical boundaries like your own space, emotional ones like saying no without a 3-page explanation, and digital ones. And oh honey, unfollow, block, mute, like your sanity depends on it, because it kind of does. You know, neuroimagery studies have shown that digital exposure to abusers can reactivate traumas and networks in your brain over and over again. So boundaries aren't meant to be mean, but they are like invisible fences for your nervous system. And the more you practice them, the more your brain learns, I don't have to live in high alert anymore. Next up is R for regulation. And no, not just some government regulations. This is about calming your inner chaos coordinator. Here's the deal. Your brain has a built-in alarm system. It's called the amygdala. And it's great at spotting danger. But after a narcissistic trauma, it starts seeing red flags everywhere. Your heart races, your thoughts spin, and boom, you're in fight, flight, or freeze because your brain thinks it's still under attack. Regulations is how we hit the brakes. It teaches your nervous system that you're not in danger anymore, With simple tools like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 methods, you can literally rewire your brain out of panic mode. These is 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. And it brings you back to now, not then. And when you learn to regulate, you start reacting like a hostage and starts responding like a whole grounded human again. A is for authenticity, aka remembering who the heck you were before you became a full time peacekeeper in someone else's drama. Here's what happens after narcissistic abuse: your brain rewires itself to keep the peace instead of keeping you happy. It's called fawning, people pleasing on steroids, and it's about disconnecting you from your true self. Authenticity means slowly, gently peeling that back. We will start by asking what actually makes you happy, and not what they wanted, and not what made them like you. Then we reclaim your spark. You know, those hobbies, passions, those little weird obsessions you used to love before they told you they were too much. And hey, if you've been shape shifting just to stay safe, I see you. But this is time to start auditioning and to start living your truth self. You know, those awkward dance moves, the loud laughs, the messy and brilliance, all of that, because it's your real self. And she's been waiting patiently. So let's go find her. V is for validation. And no, I'm not talking about the parking kind. I'm talking about that soul deep kind. You know, after narcissistic trauma, your inner voice starts sounding like a courtroom. It's constantly questioning your feelings, your memories, your sanity. And guess what? No, that's not your fault. It's what happens when you've been gaslit like an Olympic sport. So let's get one thing straight. What you felt was real. What happened was real. And how it hurt, that's valid. Your brain actually learns safety through evidence. So this is why we'll be using an evidence journal. Each time you listen to your gut, I want you to stand up for yourself. Or I want you to say no without apologizing. And that should go into your journal. The more proof your brain has that you're safe, the more your confidence will grow. And you know what? Validation also means being kind to yourself when that inner critic gets loud. So I want you to give that voice a name. You know, Debbie Downer, Negative Nancy, whatever fits. And I want you to talk back because you've heard enough from people who made you doubt yourself. And now it's time for you to believe in you. E is for empowerment. And no, it's not some buzzword people slap on Instagram quotes with butterflies and glitter fonts. You know, empowerment means taking our life off of autopilot and start saying to ourselves, like, I'm in charge now. You know, after narcissistic abuse, our brain gets used to outsourcing decisions because, you know, for a while, playing it small felt safer. But guess what? Safety and silence aren't the same thing. So what we do is we start with baby steps and we make one tiny decision without asking, you know, 3 friends, our therapist, or a tarot card, and then another. So once we start building that self-trust, like stacking blocks, you know, one clear boundary, one brave no, one honest, this is what I need, we want a boost. So we have to create like a vision board, you know, not one of a perfect life, but one of our true lives, right? The one where, you know, we're not shrinking, we're not explaining, we're not performing, we're just doing what we want to. And because we're not recovering, we're just rewriting our life. And that's what we have to do because you know what? We're the best damn authors of that. Let's talk about the messy middle. You know, the part of healing that is not saying God is more like why am I breaking? First step is the no contact set. Yeah, going back is normal. It takes an average of 7 times to recover, and that's not failure. That's a trauma bond. So if you slip, give yourself grace, then restart. The next is family pressure. Setting boundaries with people who raise you can feel like an emotional response, but you're not being disrespectful. You're being self-respecting. And yes, there is workplace triggers that are real. That boss who gaslights your ideas or that client who pushes your boundaries, these dynamics echo trauma. And that's why I'm bringing you the brave method into your whole ecosystem. And having boundaries at work, regulations between meetings, and authenticity on how you show up, it isn't just about healing from a breakup. It's about rebuilding a life that supports your nervous system and not one that constantly sets it on fire. Okay, now you got the brave self method down. So what do you do with it? This is where the 30-day recovery blueprint comes. Think of it as your emotional rehab camp, minus the green juice. Week one is where you practice boundaries and regulation. This is about building a bubble of peace and learning how to breathe when your brain wants to bolt. Week two is authenticity. Start small, like picking music you like or wearing that weird shirt that you used to hide from your ex. Week three is validation. It's where you keep your evidence journal and you brush your teeth and you didn't text them. That's a win. I want you to write it down. Week four is empowerment, where you start making choices that reflect you, not who you had to be in survival. And there's no pressure about doing it perfect. This isn't about glowing up. It's about becoming yourself again, coming home to yourself. So, ready to take that next step? Let's talk about how you can keep building this brave momentum. This method doesn't just inspire, it transforms. And I want you to meet it. I want you to first meet Scroll Happy Sarah. She used to be so she used to refresh the social life of circle. Her anxiety ran the show and blocked mental like it was impossible. But now you know where she's at. She's blocked them, she's calm, and she's finally focusing on her future and not filtering. Then there was people pleasing Michelle. You know what? She would say yes to everything. Meetings, favors, emotional labor. Saying no felt dangerous to her. But now she is setting boundaries without guilt. She is asking for whatever she needs, and she's trusting her gut over everyone else's, which is a good thing. And finally, I want you to talk about ghosting herself, Tasha. She was numb. She was over functioning. She was completely disconnected. And joy, she couldn't even fake it anymore. She just didn't experience it. You know where she's at today? She is creating. She is laughing. She is feeling everything, and that is unapologetic. So these women, they didn't just survive; they reclaimed. And maybe you're feeling something like spiral, scrolling you, or stay saying yes you or hiding in plain sight you. And no, you don't have to stay there. And no, you're not behind. You're becoming. And it's your next chapter. And it starts with brave. You survived the storm. And now it's time to rise. This journey isn't about becoming someone. It's about finally becoming you without apology, fear, or filters. So what's next? Step one, download that Brave Self Starters Kit. No strings, just real tools to jumpstart your healing. Step two, if you are ready to go deeper, I want you to join my upcoming 8-week Brave Self Intensive. You'll get expert guidance, a community that gets it, and a proven plan that works. Step three, remember, over 500 people have already claimed their power through this method, and you're not behind. Guess what? You're right on time. You made it through something that tried to break you. Now let's build something bold, beautiful, and brave. Ready? Let's begin. So, this is just the beginning, and I'm so excited. If this message hits home, it's because you're ready for something more. Not just more healing, but wholeness. This is why I'm building a space, a community for people just like you. A space where we can heal together, grow together, and rewrite the way we do relationships, starting with the one we have with ourselves. Whether you're deep in recovery, balancing it all as a work professional, or just trying to feel yourself again, there's a place for you here. My course, The Brave Self Method, is more than a program, it's a path. And soon, I'll be opening the doors to something even bigger. So stay tuned. But today, let's just start where we are. I want you to download my free starters kit. Follow that roadmap, and if it feels aligned, come walk with us. You don't have to do this alone anymore. I am here for you. T with Tiffany. Take care, and I'll talk